Hey guys, what's going on? I'm Steve. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video. If it's your first time stopping by the channel, hit that subscribe button. Trust me, you won't regret it. You're a returning subscriber as always, guys. Welcome back, and I do appreciate the support. Guys, I want to talk a little bit about a story that broke yesterday, and it's tragic, of course. And it's about this young lady right here, Vanessa Robinson, and the victim, Paige Jenkins. Now, both of these girls, regardless of how you look at Miss Robinson, that's her mugshot. If they put the war paint on, look like they could be generally attractive young ladies. And my problem nowadays is how violent young ladies are, just like the young men. I want to play this video, this little news excerpt, to give you guys caught up on what happened. And I want to really come back and talk about this. And I want to say a few things that'll get you guys to thinking a little bit. Check it out.
A teenage girl faces a charge of felony murder tonight. Police accuse the 18-year-old of deliberately striking a woman in the parking lot of Cumberland Mall after an Atlanta Braves game on Sunday.
Fox 5's Deidre Dukes joins us from Cobb Police Headquarters. She spoke with the victim's family this afternoon. So, Deidre, what did they tell you happened?
Yeah, I spoke with the victim's sisters who tell me they were enjoying a day out with their dad when they had a run-in with the suspect. They tell me that they did not know that suspect and that Vanessa Robinson deliberately struck their sister, killing her.
She ran over my sister's body like she was trash, like she was nobody.
Paige Jenkins and her family were returning to their car after attending the Braves game Sunday evening when they crossed paths with Vanessa Robinson. Jenkins' sisters say Robinson was driving through the parking lot as the family walked to their car.
She had almost hit me with her car first, and she had said something upon the lines of, "You need to watch where you're going," or something, and I was like, "I'm the pedestrian, you watch where you're going," and I had kind of shoot her off, and she had exchanged some words, and that's when Paige heard us having that argument, and she came back and said, "Watch where you're going."
Lewis said Robinson drove off, then circled back around.
And we see them pull around, and she stops for like a second, and then my sister she just hit the car.
Robinson fled the scene. Jenkins was rushed to Kennestone Hospital but did not survive her injuries.
So it was no accident. It was she knew what she was doing. She knew what she was doing.
Police tracked down Robinson and she was taken into custody in Fairburn.
My sister did not deserve that. And the two other girls that were in there, justice needs to be brought upon them as well. Because my sister did not deserve that. She was full of life, energy. She was like our glue.
All right, guys, that was the news, and it was very disheartening. But before I condemn this woman, Vanessa Robinson, after looking at the video, I think there's wrong on both sides. With Vanessa Robinson having the greater weight of wrong. And the reason why I say this is this. They went and chilled with their dad at the baseball game, putting two and two together. They must have went to the mall, hung out in Atlanta. They come out to Cumberland Mall. And normal parking lot stuff. They walking. There's a group of girls there because there's a family, all girls. You saw the picture. 4 sisters, 3 girls in the car. You know how it is. Somebody ain't paying attention. It's an awkward stopping motion of the car. Everybody looks. Hey, watch where you going. You watch where you going. Everybody wants to be right. The sister, Paige Jenkins, who is now deceased, jumped in to defend her sister. Nobody wants to back down. Like they said, old girl went around the corner, talked about it with her friends. They have egos. Must have been talking like, who they think? You know what? Let's go back around there. Go back around there. Said she stopped for a second. Must have created some type of distance of who they was going to run over. Most likely, I think Paige Jenkins was the one that interceded herself into it when the other sister was arguing. They ain't like how she acted and picked her as the intended target, which is wrong. But this whole thing, I mean, it's like the violence in young women now is just crazy over nothing. Now, I mean, we know God created man and woman differently. You know, men are more testosterone dominant in our chemical makeup. Women are more estrogen dominant. These hormones is what give us our looks, our stature, our build, and it has a lot to do with how we think, and that's where the balance lies. You know, between man and woman, but it has no room for ego, which is usually a male thing, where you don't want to back down. You want to show you tougher than somebody else. It seems like when you act outside of your the natural order of things, or your natural order of your makeup of who you are, things like this happen. And it's unfortunate because both of these girls look like they had had a bright future. Vanessa is 18. Now, this other lady, Paige Jenkins, I don't know how old she is, but they both look like they could have been beautiful women. And if they was mentored right or surrounded around the right environment, I mean, which I think Paige Jenkins was, could have been suitable wives and contributing to society. And the thing that's messed up is if you look at her face, and granted that's her mugshot, she has the same look you see a lot of teen boys have. That I don't give a F attitude, knowing they scared to death. Or they taking the picture like the person, like this whole jail experience is getting on their nerves. I don't understand this. Now, she's been locked up 2 days. Right about now is the time when reality hits her that she's not getting out anytime soon. And what she did was not worth it. I've went through this. A lot of you people that have been incarcerated have went through this, where you realize, damn, even though what I did was bad, what made me do that, looking back at it, it wasn't that bad for me to be this extreme. Now, granted, the lady said, oh, she ran up my sister like it was nothing, and she was at fault, and this and that. Ma'am, you did play a part in this. They did play a part. You can tell the way that, you know how it is when stuff escalates. Because she said, oh, I shoot her off. Like, oh, I'm the pedestrian. Now, should this have happened? No. But I mean, we're not going to say innocently, the lady said, hey, where you going? Watch where you're going. Then she said, well, I'm the pedestrian. I have the right of way. Don't make it like it's you all the angel. It wasn't like that. But I mean, all in all, man, it's like, it just hit me. Somebody asked me a long time ago. They said, man, you're a good dude. And this happened several times. And they said, it would be cool if you mentored my son. And I had to decline the offer. And they couldn't believe why. Let me explain something to you. When you go to mentor somebody, they have to be close to you to where you can reach them. And then they have to be in an environment where they're around you the majority of time. 1 or 2 hours a day does not help mentor somebody, because what you're trying to mentor them from is an environment. And usually they return back to the environment after you're mentoring them. Thus, everything you did is erased because they're back in an environment where they're trying to get out of mentally, but people want you to mentor them to get them out of it. It doesn't work. And I try to explain that. There's a lot of young ladies out here, just as much as men, young boys, that need mentoring. They need to be put around people or surrounding themselves by people that are positive and unlike what they're used to. And this is a lesson, for a lot of people out here, a lot of young people. If you had, a lot of you parents have young people out here, and they're entering that stage of confusion, age 13 to 16, but they're trying to identify who they are and what direction they're going in. This is something we all need to think about when we have children this age. I mean, not 18, but, the ages I just named. Teach your children. One of the values you should teach your children, whether it's a male or female child, you need to teach them to surround themselves around people that are just as smart as they are or smarter. If somebody's not on their level and they're friends with them, sometimes it's better to take a step up. Life is about constant elevation, socially and mentally. A lot of people we see in the hood, you know, are friends with somebody that's a knucklehead. But because they remember when they were 5 or 6 and somebody shared a sandwich with them or somebody stopped somebody from fighting them, they had this lifelong bond, and thus they feel as though they owe somebody something. You're your own individual person and you're on your own path. Just because somebody's on a path next to you and they're a little bit behind you, it doesn't mean you have to slow down your progression of where you're going in life. Nobody owes anybody anything, because at the end of the day, you'll be the one in the casket or you'll be the one in the urn after you're cremated. And the same person that you're trying to save or be like will still be themselves and get worse after you're gone. Go look at how many funerals you go to of your friends or somebody you know and cared about. Watch 2 or 3 days later, everybody's mourning and acting like they're going to die at the funeral. 2 days later, it's back to normal. 2 months later, the name's not brought up no more. Life goes on. Your life must go on. These are the things we need to be telling our children. This right here should not have happened. I have a saying that I say, and I forgot where I got it from, but I don't have to do anything to a person that's a idiot. Life will take care of them. Most of the time, they take care of themselves in life. When you get older and you sit up here and you talk and you think about things and you go over history, because, you know, life is nothing but a bunch of repetitive actions that you do or do not make the right decision on to go to the next step. And you get to the point where you can predict, or you see somebody that's, you know, I don't have to know you personally, but I know your type. I know what type of actions you're going to take. I've seen them facial expression before. I've seen that type of anger. I know what you're capable of, and I know what you're thinking. That's why a lot of times your parents are smarter than you, even though you might not think so. You ever notice when people are real old, they don't talk too much? You know why? What can they say they haven't said already? And they already know how you're going to take the information. So they just sit back, which makes a lot of sense. I'm not that old to where I get to that point, but it's coming. We got to do better out here. For real, we do. These 2 women should not have been fighting. I mean, should not have been in this type of situation. And Vanessa should not have turned that car around and went around there because she had an ego. You was in the car. It was just words. Nothing. It means nothing. Think about it. She had made another turn. If she turned right instead of left, she'd still be out here. I'm Stock Market Steve for the Dynamic Reason channel. As always, like, comment, share, and subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you.